So, I promised to make a video on the Game Boy Fire Emblem games before the summer was out. That video's in development hell, so I'm just going to talk about Three Houses instead. Call this a first impression sort of deal. I mean, I finished a route, but one route in a game with 4 doesn't really say a lot.
Plus, who plays Fire Emblem for the plots anyways?
I went into this game almost completely unspoiled, mostly because I slept on the hype because I just didn't have a Switch, so I didn't think I'd get the game, so I didn't follow any of the marketing material. I didn't even know there was a time skip until someone I knew blurted it out because they thought I knew. Honestly, I was kinda pissed. Fire Emblem started back in 2013 with the smash hit release of Fire Emblem Awakening. That would make Fire Emblem Three Houses the 4th game of the Fire Emblem series. Mechanically, I think Three Houses is my favorite Fire Emblem game. Something I've always liked about the series is how it'll take a mechanic from one game and reuse or remix it several games down the line. Combat arts are back from Fire Emblem Echoes, reclass on the fly is back from Shadow Dragon, probably the only good thing to come out of Shadow Dragon. The crest system is reminiscent of Holy Blood from Genealogy of the Holy War, among several other cute little details that I find really fun. All in all, it makes for an experience that was about as mechanically interesting as Path of Radiance was. Continuing with the Path of Radiance comparison, I haven't loved a cast this much since Path of Radiance, which is something that I thought would never happen again. I chose the Black Eagles because, having not followed any of the promotional material, I only had first impressions to go off of. I thought Dimitri was basically as interesting as wet cardboard, and Claude was so smug that I wanted to throw him down a flight of stairs, leaving Edelgard as the sole competent one. That pretty much inverted as I went through the Black Eagles route. I started to dislike Edelgard more as it progressed. Still feel the same about Dimitri, but I do really like Claude, so now on my second run I am, in fact, doing Golden Deer accordingly. In the end, it seemed like the meme house was the best house, so who'da thunk it. If I went through my opinions on every person in the entirety of the cast, we'd be here all goddamn day, so I'm just gonna do a quick fire of my 2 favorite lads and my 2 favorite lasses. Ash is a precious little child. I appreciate how kind and genuine he is, and his whole little tragic backstory deal doesn't really influence his character too much. He seems very chipper despite his circumstances. Ignatz is a character I'm very biased towards because I've always really enjoyed artists. Like, conceptually, it's something I've always admired, and on top of that, he's a very dedicated person who really wants to hone his craft. And on top of that, he reminds me of a certain somebody. I wonder who. Marianne is a character I enjoy, less so for her looks, and more that her whole character arc is about discovering self-worth, something I myself have struggled with here and there, and I kinda connect to her in a way when it comes to that whole plot thread. Bernadetta is what happens when you make a Futaba-like character that doesn't suck ass and is actually redeemable. And as such, I feel like a writer should take notes from her if they do decide to write a neat character. On top of that, I have not seen a character in a Fire Emblem game so capable of slaughter despite their timidity since Florina from Fire Emblem Blazing Blade. Fire Emblem Three Houses is definitely a game that's well worth your time. Mechanically, it's incredibly interesting, the cast is fantastic, and the plot, while not the best in the Fire Emblem series, is definitely still pretty interesting. It's a solid recommendation out of me, and go grab it if you have a Switch, because there's not much else to play on that thing now, is there? If you were here mostly for the Three Houses talk, now would be the part where you leave, because now I'm going to be talking about channel stuff. First off, the title of the video, an excuse to briefly talk about. It's kind of a sub-series to the thing I generally do, mostly because, well, I just haven't had the time to make a good long-form video. And, you know, these will take 2 months to make instead of 6. It's really just an issue of time. I do like making this stuff, it's just finding the time and the energy is very rare. And I want to give you guys something every so often, so I might try something like this, maybe more short-form stuff, but it'll still be pretty damn infrequent, I'm sorry. I originally didn't really want to make this video, but I didn't want the gap in content to get even bigger when I promised a Fire Emblem video would be out before the end of the summer. As such, I'm not really going to be promising videos anymore. Like, I'm not really going to be saying this will be out in this time frame because it's kind of just a personal thing. I don't really like to break promises, even if it's something stupid like a YouTube video. I'm going to lean more on stuff like probablys. Like, the next video is probably either going to be on Ace Combat Zero because I really like how that game's plot is framed, or me digging the video on Game Boy Fire Emblem out of development hell. I'm not sure, we'll see. And don't take this like me being a big sad sack like I did with that really poorly timed indefinite hiatus video. Things are going good. I love my job, I'm starting my school semester soon. It's more just, yeah, I have a job and I'm a full-time college student to be a medical technician. I don't have a lot of fucking free time. And when I do, I'm fucking tired. Sorry. With all that said, I'll see you guys next time, whatever that might be. It might be a shit post in a week, it might be a full video in 6 months. I don't know. This might be the last thing I ever make. We'll see. Later.